I am.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Geek Blend. I'm Jeff. I actually recorded this video earlier today. For some reason, only one channel of the audio track recorded, so it was only coming out the right speaker. So I'm going to do this again, and hopefully it'll work this time. We're going to talk about some Mandalorian 2 news today. Really quickly too, Ryan Kennel from RK Outpost did a video about this today. Actually, a really great video. I want you guys to go check that out. I'm going to leave it linked to his video in the description as well, so definitely go check it out. I saw this article on Bounding Into Comics, and I wanted to do a video about it anyways, but I saw his. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do one because his is much better than mine, but yeah, I'm going to do one anyway. I'll give you my thoughts and kind of go over it just a little bit. So let's go ahead and just jump into this article and take a look and see what it says, and we'll talk about this drama behind the scenes with Pedro Pascal and the Mandalorian and where the direction there might be going in Season 2, halfway through the season. Some rumors coming from Grace Randolph. Let's get in there and let's dig into them and check them out. Here I am again, up in the top corner. Okay, let's get into the article really quickly. Every time I'm in this damn thing, I always want to like look down and look for Brady Bunch characters below me. It's like, hey, what's up? What's up? Oh, hey, Jan. No, it's just I had a friend be like, hey, you look like you're in like the Brady Bunch thing. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Okay, let's go ahead and get this article here. It says, rumor, Pedro Pascal quit filming The Mandalorian Season 2 halfway through production. Yeah. A new rumor claims that the Mandalorian actor Pedro Pascal quit filming the show halfway through the second season. The rumor comes from YouTuber Grace Randolph during her Mandalorian Season 2 trailer reaction video, which I will leave also in the description below, so you guys can check it out. Don't like Grace Randolph, or you do like Grace Randolph, she's gotten some stuff right before. She has some reputable sources for sure, because she's got some things right that she reported on, and then people will report on it and like collaborate her, what she said. So definitely maybe trust her on this one, but also take it with a grain of salt for sure, because it is still a rumor, but she pulls a few quotes from the Entertainment Weekly article, which they drop in this article here, to kind of back up a little bit what she's saying and maybe even show what she means. So let's go through it. Randolph first points to the Entertainment Weekly's recent spotlight on The Mandalorian Season 2, where showrunner Jon Favreau notes that Season 2 will introduce a larger story in the world. Favreau explains, the new season is about introducing a larger story in the world. He adds the stories become less isolated, yet each episode has its own flavor, and hopefully we're bringing a lot more scope to the show. Before we move on with that, remember all the rumors that came out in the last 6 months about Ahsoka Tano coming in, Sabine Wren coming in, Bo-Katan coming in, played by Katie Sackhoff, and Tamora Morrison coming back to play Boba Fett and Captain Rex as well. It's very interesting to hear the way they're wording this, like introducing a larger story in the world, stories becoming less isolated, each episode having its own flavor. So that's very interesting. Executive producer and director Dave Filoni adds, everything gets bigger. The stakes get higher, but also the personal story between the child and the Mandalorian develops in a way I think people will enjoy. Favreau would then explain that he will be following different storylines outside of Pascal's The Mandalorian. He tells EW, as we introduce other characters, there are opportunities to follow different storylines. He continued, the world was really captivated by Game of Thrones and how that evolved as the characters follow different storylines. That's very appealing to me as an audience member. So, all those characters we just talked about that are maybe coming in, that have possibly been, sorry, that was my knuckle, that have possibly been confirmed by these other reports like Variety and all these other places that are confirming this stuff. So, he's saying as we introduce other characters, opportunity to follow different storylines, everything gets bigger, stakes are higher. So it does sound like they're going to start kind of branching off, and we're going to see The Mandalorian, but we're going to see a lot of other characters as well, and their little storylines as we follow them. Maybe they'll start with The Mandalorian, and it'll kind of weave through these different storylines with all these other characters, and it'll all come back and connect at the very end of the episode as they move into the Season 3, if Season 3 happens. Randolph notes this evidence to back up her information, which she claims comes from 2 different sources. She goes on to note that this rumored row with Pascal began when the actor wanted to film a number of scenes with his helmet off. So, Pedro Pascal wanted to film scenes with his helmet off. He's an actor. I'm sure he's a diva. I'm sure he started getting a big head being on a show like, I'm Pedro Pascal. I starred in Mandalorian. Yes and no, because we know from other articles and other things we've heard that he's not on the suit all the time. Sometimes he is, but sometimes it's a stunt double just walking around in the suit. It's not him. He's doing a voiceover most of the time. And to be honest, if he does leave, they can replace him with a voiceover actor that sounds just like him or similar. That wouldn't be an issue. Randolph explains, while filming Season 2, Pedro Pascal really wanted to have some scenes with his helmet off. However, she notes the Mandalorian creative team wouldn't budge on this. And I want to say, if that's true, kudos to the Mandalorian creative team for not budging on the helmet situation that they created, by the way. The lore for this show is that the Mandalorians cannot remove their helmet to any living creature. That's why he took his helmet off in front of IG-88, because it's not a living creature. There's a little bit more she talks about, kind of connects with Gina Carano and her scenes with Pedro Pascal and how they filmed him, where I think this is coming from as well, or maybe where it started. Think about it. You're Pedro Pascal. You're in this show called The Mandalorian. You read the script when you signed up for the show. You know that this is the way. You don't take off your helmet, okay? So why would you go into Season 2 wanting your helmet off more and more? You know what is happening. You know what you can't do. So, no, you can't. She continues, so Pedro Pascal, from what I've heard from 2 sources now, was frustrated about this and was also pretty darn uncomfortable in the Mando suit on set. So it became difficult. But you signed on playing the Mandalorian. You knew what you were going to be doing. Why would you, complain about the suit? You already knew that you've been in the suit before. And the final straw through, even though he was difficult to be around, the final straw was that he went to Lucasfilm, what I've heard from my sources, to try and get them to intervene on his behalf. So he runs up the chain to Kathleen Kennedy, possibly Bob Iger or some other producers under Kathleen Kennedy, crying and complaining, I want to take my helmet off. They won't let me. And then it says you combine that with Lucasfilm already trying to get involved with the story aspects of Season 2, which I've also heard, including focusing more on standalone episodes rather than making them more connected, which I've heard the Mandalorian creative team wanted to do, which was kind of happening at the end of Season 1, Randolph stated. But, we know actors are divas. They get their own little personal headspace. They're the star of the show. I know he wasn't a huge star going into this, but, this probably changed over filming. After the popularity of Season 1, I can see that. Randolph then details that Pascal was asked to leave halfway through filming. So when Pedro Pascal went to Lucasfilm, the Mando team was like, you know what? You should just go. And Pedro Pascal did, and that happened halfway through filming. So basically, after he ran to Kathleen Kennedy, nothing happened because the Favreau and the creative team would not budge. Like, you know what? GTFO, we got this. So he did. As she's stating, this is her rumor. She later states, now as I've said, I've heard the breakup was pretty bad with both sides upset. Now, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say, well, this can't be true because he's retweeting Mandalorian stuff. I'm like, yeah, he's probably got a contract. Okay? He probably signed an NDA, and it probably has promotion for the show in his contract, so he has to promote the show. Plus, if he didn't, this would point to this being true. If, all of a sudden, all these people were retweeting or tweeting out the trailer, and when the episode airs, talking about this and that, and he never says a word, it would even shine a bigger light on what's happening if this is all true. Interestingly, in the same EW article that Randolph originally cites regarding Favreau teasing new storylines and characters, it also reveals that Pascal did in fact agree to take his helmet off to help Gina Carano film scenes. EW's James Hibbard wrote, while former MMA fighter Carano, who made her dramatic TV debut with this role, says she's more confident this time around, explaining she was helped by Pascal agreeing to remove Mando's helmet during their scenes whenever the camera was only on her. Carano added, I really wanted to see his eyes, which really helped. So she wanted to see him and react to them when they were doing a scene, which is cool. That's really, really awesome that he did that for her. But I'm sure with the helmet off more and more, realizing how uncomfortable it is, he probably started to complain and started to get a little bit difficult to work with because of the fact that he'd been used to taking it off working with her. By the way, I hope that means that she has more to do in Mandalorian Season 2 because I really, really want to see more of Gina Carano. At the end, it says, as Randolph notes, in the final episode of Season 1, Pascal does take his helmet off. We already talked about that after he's fatally injured during a shootout with Moff Gideon's forces. Okay, so it sounds like there was a lot of problems on the set. Sounds like Pedro Pascal did not like what was happening, didn't like the fact that he couldn't take his helmet off, even though he signed a contract to work on a show playing a character who doesn't take off your helmet, but he decides to complain about it and just become a diva and really get difficult on the set, which is unfortunate because I do like the character of the Mandalorian, even though we don't know shit about him. Din Djarin is his character's name. We don't know anything about him. You ask a lot of people on the Mandalorian show who are fans of the Mandalorian, ask them what they think about Din Djarin, A lot of people will say, who? They don't let these characters grow. Like in the first season, we barely know anything about the Mandalorian. We don't know anything about Grief Karga. We don't know anything about Cara Dune. Let these characters develop before you take 5, 6, 7 characters and you just dump them in the show and like cram it all together and make whatever. It's only going to be 8 episodes. We don't have enough time in a 35 to 38 minute show for 8 episodes to do all the stuff that I'm thinking they're going to be doing. Now, I was a fan of The Mandalorian Season 1 after it aired the first time. I went back and rewatched it a second time before me and Nate reviewed it on the channel during a live stream on our channel. Then I actually went back and rewatched it again not too long after that. Had some conversation with my Raging Geek Jedi show partners, Lost Jedi 22, Raging Rhino, their thoughts on the show. They had issues with some things on the show that I did as well, but much bigger issues. And when I went back and watched it again, I saw where they were coming from. I still like the show. I don't think it's as good as I did when I first watched it. It's still the best thing Disney Star Wars has done, in my opinion, which ain't saying much because they haven't really done anything great. A lot of their books have been garbage. Their movies have been not great, except for Rogue One was a standout to me. I did enjoy Rogue One. I still enjoy Rogue One. It's not a great movie. There's a lot of problems with it, a lot of character issues, but that's here nor there. But still, this is probably the best that Disney Star Wars has got to offer, and hopefully I'm still in the camp and I'm still in the team that I'm going in with a positive attitude because I want it to be good. I want good Star Wars. Just because I don't like what Disney Star Wars has done, it's not because I don't like Star Wars, it's because it's not good and I want good Star Wars. That's what we all want. If you love The Mandalorian, that's awesome. I'm glad you did. That's fucking awesome. I'm glad. I'm happy that you did. But I am on the fence, and I just think with all the crap they're going to be shoving into, all these characters that have been confirmed, I guess, from these sources, it's just a lot to take in and a lot to put in your show. So that will do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I want to know what you think. Let me know what you think about these rumors. What do you think about Pedro Pascal leaving? What do you think about all these characters coming in The Mandalorian Season 2? What are your thoughts going forward on it? Did you like the first season? Did you not like it? Are you expecting much out of the second season? Are you not expecting much? I just love to hear from you guys, as always. In the description below, I will leave a link to Ryan's video that he did on this as well, that I talked about earlier in the video. Also links to my social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and our Discord as well. That continues to grow every week. So go over there and check out the community. I really appreciate that. And there's a lot of great people over there that are always talking and having a good time. And also down in that description is our Patreon. If you guys want to help out the channel, support us at all, we would really appreciate that as well. And you do it for as little as $1 a month. And speaking of Patreon, I want to say thank you to all my patrons. I have all your names below right here as well. Probably also in the end outro as usual. If I don't have it down here, because sometimes I forget to do that. But your names will be at the end, so definitely check that out. And I wanted to say thank you to you guys who support me on Patreon. I really appreciate it, and your support is just, we just love it. Thank you. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'm Jeff. This is The Geek Planner. Remember, if you geek about it, we speak about it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.